We made our way to the very edge of the refuge, and this is what we found. We're going to pull out to give you an idea of what we're looking at right now. A very impressive, ominous looking cloud of this huge fire that has been burning all afternoon here at the refuge. Thick black smoke. There are 1,000 acres on fire here. We want to go to some more shots from Area 11 to give you a bird's eye view of what's been happening here this afternoon. You'll see several different spots on the refuge. That is because the Fish and Wildlife Service is telling us that they have been setting different parts of the refuge on fire in an attempt to bring it under control, but so far it is out of control. And many of the people who live in this area are upset, saying they're having trouble breathing. And sometimes when their control burns around here, people know it. This one, as I just mentioned, caught them by surprise. And this smoke, as I mentioned, when we were driving down to the island this afternoon, we could see it in Texas City. We could smell it even before we crossed the ferry. So it is a huge fire, more than 1,000 acres. It's not clear how much longer this will burn. Right now, investigators are trying to figure out exactly what started it, but the Fish and Wildlife Service and the Forest Service says they did not start it. Back out here live on the ground to give you one more idea of just how incredible this blaze is at this time. If we can look over here on the left side, this cloud has been changing shapes and colors and seems to be getting larger. And we're going to be here. We're keeping an eye on it. But the Fish and Wildlife Service is telling us that folks that live in the area should be prepared to have smoke come their way because this fire is far from being under control.
My name is Mimi Valdez, and this is my first time to the Jerusalem Hospital. I'm very excited.
Excited because she couldn't wait to reshape her body after losing 130 pounds.
You're tired, it's heavy, it's loose skin. It's just hard to live like that.
Valdez and her niece, Chrissy, say they chose Hospital Jerusalem in Tijuana, Mexico because doctors there promised the work would be done for $5,000. They thought they had found the perfect place.
Your happiness is right around the corner.
But the Houston women say nothing could have been further from the truth. They sent us some graphic photos to help prove their point.
Immediately after the bandages were removed, I took a look in the mirror at my breasts. I had skin hanging out of the incisions.
Chrissy, who asked us not to use her last name, had lost 150 pounds. The mommy makeover she wanted so badly was a disaster. Valdez also complained, saying her tummy tuck left her disfigured. 2 weeks after their surgeries, both women say they were having major medical problems.
When I went to the hospital, they said, we don't know if we can save her.
We tried calling Hospital Jerusalem for a response. A spokesman told us we can't acknowledge if a patient was in the hospital. We declined based on the Patient Privacy Act. The ladies say the clinic in a strip center didn't look anything like the hospital on the website. Surgeries, they tell us, were being performed 24 hours a day. When you saw that there were red flags, why didn't you just turn around and just leave, get out of there?
I was already there. I knew I wasn't going to get my money back, and I just made a very, very wrong decision to go through with it, and I should have listened to my intuition, but I didn't.
Mimi and Chrissy are by no means alone. A group called Patients Beyond Borders estimates that last year, anywhere from 200,000 to more than 1 million people traveled to Mexico to have procedures done. Patients Beyond Borders says people should look for this seal, which proves a facility has met strict international medical standards.
Malaysia.
Foreign doctors are fighting more than ever to get patients from the U.S. by offering medical procedures at a lower price.
Do their homework.
Watch out, says the head of Houston Society of Plastic Surgeons.
Generally speaking, the surgeon who is providing a deeply discounted fee is not the surgeon who is well qualified.
Mimi and Chrissy did a lot of research before risking their lives in Mexico. Now they say the clinic won't even acknowledge they were patients.
Many times I said, why did I do this? I should have just saved up enough money and had it done with a doctor in Texas.
Through things and to not go.
The women have no legal recourse. Now they just want to tell their story and perhaps save a life.
I hope that people get the message that they need to be very careful.
Len, when that constable came to this area around this bridge, he knew there was going to be one really big problem. There was a lot of noise from all the traffic on the Grand Parkway, but that didn't stop him from saving a boy's life. For officers on patrol in Fort Bend County, it was just another night until they got this call.
corporate 911. Do you need police, fire, EMS?
I think my son maybe is doing something to harm himself, and we can't find him.
A frantic father was afraid his son had jumped from this bridge on the Grand Parkway near New Territory in the middle of the night. Deputy Constable Joe Villarreal was one of the first officers who began searching for the teen in trouble.
I start walking right up this path.
Moments later, Villarreal heard a faint cry for help.
So here we're yelling for the young man, and we're yelling, "Where are you? I need to know where you're at."
He and other officers who arrived still didn't see anything. So Villarreal and a sheriff's deputy made their way down this steep embankment to the river's edge.
Watch yourself.
Moments later, Villarreal found the 17-year-old hurt, nearly chest deep in swirling water, stuck in mud.
The first time we saw him, it almost like you have another spike.
The officers talked the teen into crawling just far enough to where they could reach him. The deputy and his partner would have to make one last climb before getting the kid to safety. They would have to come up through this rut. It's very steep and filled with all kinds of loose rocks, and there was a lot of mud. Later, constables found out the teen had jumped from the bridge trying to kill himself and might have died alone in the cold Brazos that night had it not been for Deputy Constable Joe Villarreal.
So we knew once we got him out here, everything's going to be okay. The teenager was okay too. He was taken to the hospital. Meantime, the deputy constable hurt his hand during all of this, and now he's been given some desk duty until he's okay. He's hoping to be back out on the streets by the end of the month.
Got 21 feet there.
If there is anybody who knows how to measure and count, it's Rigo Gonzalez.
24 feet there.
But the home appraiser does it best.
1, 2, 3.
When teaching kids to play instruments used in Tejano music. Does it tell a story?
It does tell a story. Most of the stuff you'll hear is, people working hard, trying to make a living. It's almost like country music.
The youngest student in Rodriguez's school, little 8-year-old Ricky Cáceres, learning to play an accordion.
It's kind of fun.
Do you hope to be a big music star someday, you think?
Yes.
The early style of Tejano was wildly popular in Houston until the mid-90s. It was during that time that Tejano music all but went off the radio airwaves in Houston. Artists just couldn't sell the music, all because of a lack of star power. Selena's death left a gaping hole in Tejano music, and since then, things have never been the same. Fans, though, are hardcore and refuse to let it go.
The music, the musicians, we're still here. It's the support mechanisms that are not there anymore, but things are changing now.
Interest in the music is growing. The demand for classes are so high.
The 4-2 time.
At Gonzalez's music school, he's had to move into a larger building. There is something about this music these teens can't get enough of.
If you take the accordion away, it's not the same. The accordion makes Tejano music for me.
Let me see how you're doing it.
There are very few schools that teach Tejano music. Gonzalez hopes to keep it alive.
I take it as a responsibility, really, to pass it on to the next generation.
If the music is going to thrive, it must produce new and young stars like little Ricky. At Rodriguez's school, there are plenty in the making.
All right, good job, guys.